live?
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ronald Presner. I'm the chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals for the town of Mount Pleasant. I welcome you to tonight's meeting. We have an abbreviated agenda for tonight, which is good. But before we start, let me first introduce the members of my board. To my far right is Adrian Novak. To my immediate right is Nick DeChico. To my immediate left is Kathy Grabowski, our secretary of the zoning board. To her left is Herb Doer, and at the far left is Mr. George Lapatos. And sitting at the table diagonally in front of me is Mr. Joseph Briganti, who is our building inspector for the town of Mount Pleasant. So with that being said, I'd like to start with our first application for tonight, 26-21. Richard Zotola. All right. Raise your right hand, please. Testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is that mic hooked up? Is that mic hooked up? It is? All right. Okay. And you are Richard Zalata, and you're a reference to the applicant?
Yes, I am the applicant.
Oh, you are the
The
applicant,
homeowner.
okay. The premise is located at 38 Eastview Drive in Valhalla, designated on the tax assessment map, Town of Mount Pleasant, 113.9-1-20, correct?
Yes,
Okay. The application is for a proposed new roof on a wraparound porch to an existing one-family dwelling on a legal standard parcel of .97 acres in the R40 zone. And the following variance is requested. Side yard setback, 25 feet is required. Your existing is 26 feet, and you're proposing 20 feet.
correct.
Okay. So you need a 5-foot variance. All right, would you please explain to the board exactly what you want to do?
Yes, happy to. Good evening to the board, and thank you so much for hearing our request for a variance. My name is Rick Zotola, and this is my wife, Carol Robinson. We are the applicants and the property owners of our one-story house. I am also a professional engineer, and I am the engineer of record for this variance request. And I will also be the engineer of record for filing the new home addition.
Okay.
Our property is zoned as R40, and we are here today seeking a side yard setback variance for a new porch roof, as you've described, Ronald. The future project does not increase the footprint of the house. No variance is being requested, nor is one required for the proposed occupied space expansion. It's only about the roof. So here is our design for the house. Here is our design for the house. What our design does include is a wraparound porch starting at the front. It heads to the north. The side of the house is the north side. It heads to the north, and then it wraps around the north side. Here's a front view of our house. This is the front door. The porch is over top of the front door. It continues along the house to the north side. It wraps around the north side and goes towards the east.
That's the proposed view of the house, right?
This is the proposed view of the house.
Okay.
The porch itself is existing and legally existing, and will be refurbished as part of the project. It is the proposed porch roof on the north side of the house that would encroach into the side yard setback, thus requiring a variance. The R40 zoning, within our 40 zoning, the side yard setback is 25 feet, Ronald, as you had said, 25 feet from the property line, it would therefore, the porch would therefore encroach 5 feet beyond the side yard setback, thus requiring this variance. The 5-foot encroachment represents only 20% of the side yard setback of 25 feet. In our presentation, we're going to touch on 5 points to support our variance request. 1, the variance improves the utility of our current porch. 2, the alternative porch roof locations either don't work or would detract from the home. 3, the property has a very narrow aspect ratio that pinched the original house plan, thus limiting renovation options. 4, the originally constructed roof eave already encroaches 2 feet into the side yard setback. And 5, and finally, the roof would not inconvenience neighbors. So now I'll touch on each of those points in a little more detail. So number 1, improves utility. The current 11-foot wide open air deck is an ideal place for outdoor grilling. It is directly off of the kitchen with an exterior door accessing it. When it rains, however, there is currently no roof cover that allows for convenient use of the grill. The proposed porch roof would provide partial cover in inclement weather. Our second point, which is we considered alternative locations for roof coverage for the grilling. The front porch was one consideration. Front porch is here. However, the front porch, as planned, is only 6 feet wide. Therefore, there's not enough room on this narrow porch for grilling. The other alternative was to add a roof in the back of the house where there would be no setback problem. However, the rear of our house intentionally does not include the continuation of the wraparound roof in our design. Having one would shroud the panoramic view that we have towards the back of our house, which is the DEP property, watershed property. Third point, the property has a very narrow aspect ratio. Go to our site plan. If we go to our site plan, we see that as apportioned in 1958, when this section of the town was allotted to properties, we have only a 125-foot width, and we have a very long length. And the house is oriented lengthwise along that narrow width. We have a 37-foot setback at a driveway entrance. Our driveway comes up here, and this is the driveway entrance before you enter our garage here. That's 37 feet. It's minimal. And our modest house footprint is 62 feet. Adding those two dimensions leaves just 26 feet on the north side of the house for development. And that's the way the house was originally planned. So it more or less went right up against the side lot setback. So there's very little room width-wise on our property for a renovation that does any sort of expansion or utilizes space on either side yard setback. Our fourth point, back here, positioned side by side on this drawing is a drawing elevation of our existing house. It's a ranch-style split-level house, and the entry is here. And if we go to the north side of the house, the house is 1 foot shy of the 25-foot side yard setback, but we have a 3-foot eave at this location. 3-foot eave here, it's just the character of the house. So the eave already encroaches beyond the side yard setback by 2 feet. We're requesting a side yard setback encroachment of 5 feet, only 3 feet more than what already exists and has been there unnoticed for nearly 60 years. And our last point is that this porch roof won't inconvenience neighbors. We already have a deck there, a porch. We already use it for dining, socializing, grilling. Adding this minimal roof over a portion of that porch will not increase our usage of that deck. So we see no impact to neighbors.
Question, how wide is your existing deck on the north side?
Same width as the house, about 30 feet.
And that's about on ground level or close to ground level?
It is. It was originally constructed as a patio,
Okay.
and the prior owner, not us, the prior owner probably had problems with the flagstone on the patio, and they took up the flagstone, but they left the basic pavement structure of the patio. Instead of putting new flagstone down, they put a deck down. And I believe, Kathy, I think you said to me that they actually got a certificate of occupancy for that. They filed that.
Yes, they did.
Because theoretically, you can have that patio, if it's on ground level, you can go right to the property line. There would be no problem. The question here is the roof. Now, you're saying the roof would come out about 5 feet, 6 feet,
It's a 6-foot roof
three-
encroaching
or-
5 feet.
or 4 feet beyond the eave of the roof.
It would be 3 feet
3 feet.
beyond the eave of the
The
existing.
top of the roof is what, 2 feet? Or
Pardon me?
the top of the roof, the eave of the roof, that comes out 2 feet or 3 feet?
3 feet. So this is the existing house. And
Right.
this dark line here is the wall of the existing house. And the eave extends out 3 feet.
3 feet, all right, so it's an additional 3 feet above, over what you want. Ms. Novak, do you have any questions?
Not at this time.
Mrs. DeChico?
Can you tell me again how far the porch extends out into the setback?
The porch, yep, you can do that.
Did I hear you say 20, it's at 20 feet?
So it shows up,
The current porch,
oh, the front porch?
the current.
Yeah, the current porch. The current porch is the same dimensions towards the north property line as the new porch. What's being drawn here, this area here, is the existing porch we're refurbishing it.
Right,
It is currently 15 feet away from the property
15
line,
feet, okay.
and it's an 11-foot porch.
11-foot porch, 15 feet away from the property line, and that's a pre-existing, that's a pre-existing deck which is why you said it's currently legal.
Yeah, and we're just refurbishing it,
Yeah.
we're not expanding it.
Yep.
Mr. Dorr?
You mentioned something earlier about a future project. Are you doing an addition to this house on top of this? Addition to this?
This is, maybe I'll show you this drawing. So this is the current house. It has 1 story here plus a basement. It has 1 story here plus a garage and a family room, so it's a typical split level house. And this is the proposed new house.
So you're
Which-
adding on to the current house?
We're adding onto the current house, adding a full floor over the entire footprint.
Which
That's
is,
the fundamental project, and as part of that project, we're doing this porch roof.
so would, if or not this roof was approved, would that affect your future addition on the second floor?
We are gonna do that addition regardless.
Okay. No further questions.
Ms. Lapatos?
Mr. Satola, you did a very nice job presenting, and I don't have many questions. Aside from the need that you might present for keeping that corner in a dimension that offends the side yard setback, I listened to your need for it. I understand why you want to have the cover. And 99% of the roof for this porch is permissible without any variance from us. It's only that corner that presents a need, if I understand you correctly.
It's the roof, so it appears to be a corner from this drawing, but this is the west face of the house, and the roof, porch roof, which is a 6-foot porch roof in front of the house, and on the north side, it wraps around, and it extends the full length of the north side of the house to about 30 feet. So for that 30 feet width, we would have a porch roof.
So
And
is
it would
the
exceed-
offending portion the entire run of the roof? Or is
Yes.
it, okay.
Yes, it is.
And in order for you to have the benefits of inclement weather coverage, that extra 3 feet you feel is necessary? The full length of the roof coming from the house outward is several feet, more than 3. How many feet?
I'm sorry, please repeat that.
Coming from the house, the main structure, how far does the roof that you're proposing to put over the porch, how far does that extend?
6 feet
6 feet total?
in the north direction, and it's 30 feet by 6 feet on the north side of the house.
And a 3-foot roof wouldn't be adequate for your purposes?
It's 3 foot. It is the eaves on our house taper at the high point. At the high point of the roof, the peak of the gable is a 3-foot eave. As you extend down, you see how that slopes? As you extend down in both directions to the 2 corners of the house, it decreases to 2 feet. Plus, it's up high. So it's narrow, it's up high. Any sort of swirling of the wind causing swirling of the rain, it just makes it unusable.
So you need that extra 3 feet?
Yeah, and it'll be somewhat lower. It'll, proper roof.
Yeah, I'm trying to explore whether or not there are any means to minimize the variance that you're requesting. But it does seem as though you're expressing a need for the full 6 feet, and since it runs the entire length of the west side of the house?
This is the
North side of the house.
north side of the house.
It's not a corner that could be trimmed, so to speak.
The door that, I guess we don't have enough drawings here, but the door that goes from our kitchen is back here, and the door that goes to the kitchen is roughly in the middle of the wall.
I have no further questions, thank you.
I have a question. Have you considered a motorized awning instead of a solid rooftop? You can use it for barbecuing. It can come out 10, 12 feet. And it can retract back to 0,
It could be.
and you wouldn't have to be here.
We want to be here,
I know you want to be here, but my
and we would like,
you know, in my business, you have the facts, and then you got to go to alternatives. All right? You're a structural engineer, I'm a mechanical engineer. You find alternatives, and you try to make things idiot-proof so that nobody, no matter how well you make something, there's always some idiot that's going to break it. But in this case, if you had a 15-foot awning, motorized awning, coming out about 10 feet, which it can be, you would have ample room, and you'd only use it in inclement weather, number one. Number two, it faces the north, so you don't get the sun all day long. It's the south, it's mostly from the south that you get your sun, and the east.
of course, that's something that could be done. That certainly has been a thought, but it's a Band-Aid, and it's work. Because every time we want to use it, we have to
Just press a
unfurl it
button.
and put it back.
Yeah,
And
or you can leave it out when the weather's nice for 4 or 5 days, 6 days. It's not something that you have to do every day you go out there. You press the button, the awning goes out, you do your barbecue, you have your guests over, you have much more room on your patio. And at the same time, when you're finished, press the button, it retracts back, and you have your standard unit, you have your standard patio. So when the weather is nice, you don't need a roof over your head. It's only for inclement weather. Correct?
it's correct, it's a compromise.
Yeah.
To me,
So-
it's a compromise.
Right.
And this is an aesthetic, also an aesthetically pleasing feature that where, you sort of have this homey look, this country look, where you have a wraparound roof starting at the main entry, and it wraps around the side.
Right.
That's a very aesthetic look. We like that look.
You like that? Okay.
And we wouldn't, and, to do the Band-Aid approach is perfectly viable, but it's a Band-Aid. And we would like to have a permanent roof.
What do you consider a Band-Aid?
A mechanized roof that you attach to the house and unfurl every once in a while.
Well, I'll tell you, some of these mechanized roofs last 20, 30 years without a problem, and they serve a good function. It's
And-
just that what we're trying to do is, you're asking the board tonight to make a decision on something that's aesthetic rather than practical. 6-foot wide roof is not that practical if there's a rainstorm.
Oh, it would be. Right now, you go out on the roof with an umbrella, or out on the deck with an umbrella,
Right.
which means you don't go out on the deck to grill. You decide not to grill. Whereas if I have a 6-foot roof where I can stand there, let it rain, and then go out, flip the burger.
Yeah,
go
right
back
there,
under the
to the end
cover.
of that dais there. It's about, I'd say, 6 feet from here, roughly,
Mr. Chairman?
5, 6 feet.
5, 6 feet.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question about the notice, Mr. Chairman. That's okay.
Let me just finish up. But would you say that's the approximate distance? You're not gonna put a barbecue grill right next to your house.
About where I'm standing, about 6 feet.
Yeah, about 6 feet, yeah. And you're not gonna put the barbecue, I'm
Oh,
looking at
no,
it
definitely not
I'm
gonna do
looking at
that.
it from a practical point of view, okay? You're not gonna have the barbecue grill adjacent to your home. It's gonna be out. So it's either gonna be beyond, at the edge of your roof cover or further out, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so if it rains, you're still gonna get wet, right?
But have you ever
With your
barbecued?
umbrella. What's that?
Well, have you ever barbecued? Don't you need to tend to the barbecue so that you don't
Oh,
burn
sure.
what you're cooking?
Well, I
You
have a
need to tend
barbecue,
to it.
I tend to it, and I have it set up that there's no, I can use it 365 days a year, and I don't have, I've made provisions so that in inclement weather, I can still do it and not get wet or get snow on me or anything else. And that's where the retractable roof comes. That's why I'm saying this. It's an option. I'm not going to go further with that, all right? Mr. DeChico, you had a question?
I do. So I believe you said the roof currently already extends, I think you said about 2 feet out into the setback, which is why you're requesting an additional 3 feet of what is presently there.
It's not why. What we're pointing out is that,
Before I don't want to get on, just trying to get my numbers straight.
oh, yeah.
Did I hear, or do I have
You
that
heard
right?
right.
You
You
said
heard
it's
right.
about 2 feet, and what you're requesting is only 3 feet more than what's currently there.
That's correct.
Okay. So my question is, the existing footage setback on the notice here says 26 feet as existing, so I'm not sure if that's correct. Because if you're telling me that your roof is already 2 feet into the setback, wouldn't that be an existing of 23?
We have surveys, two professional surveys, one that we acquired when we moved into the house, done years and years ago, and one that we did for renovations that we've done on the project. And both of those indicate that the house itself is where the setback was measured. So that's done by a professional, not me, but by a professional. And it was really only until we were putting this design together and realizing we needed to seek a variance, and we put our variance request together, that I realized, wow, I'm looking up, and I said, we're already 2 feet beyond the setback. And so the reason I'm bringing that up, I realize that that's not in and of itself a justification for this setback, but I bring it up because it represents a perspective that the issue with the porch, a new porch that would exceed the setback by 5 feet, is that it exceeds a setback. However, to put it into perspective, for 60 years, we've had a roof that unknowingly to us, now I'm imagining to the town, because it didn't really show up on the original plan that I got when I bought the house, that we already have a roof that exceeds by 2 feet. So by comparison, we're going from 2 feet to 5 feet, and that's the only reason I'm bringing that up.
Well, I'll say to you that I understand the argument. I understand your point completely. I think it does support, it does tend to support your application in a positive way. I wanted to make sure we had our numbers straight.
Yep.
Because these numbers looked a little different than what I was hearing you say. But at the end of the day, we are very clear that the proposed roof will be 20 feet from the property line.
Correct.
And as far as you know now, the current roof is 22, so in practical terms, you're adding 3 from what's there.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone here for or against this application?
You guys just step aside and you'll have a chance to wrap up or make any.
Good evening, members of the board. Aldo Vitaliano, 211 South Ridge Street in Rybrook. I represent Mr. and Mrs. Rosenberg, who are the adjoining neighbors of 38 Eastview Drive. Mrs. Rosenberg is here with us this evening, but I'll be her mouthpiece tonight, unless there's any questions for her. Very simply, we've taken a look at this. We are the adjoining neighbors to this property. These lots on Eastview Drive are beautiful lots, beautiful neighborhood. My understanding is they're starting to have tear downs in the neighborhood and new houses put up. So when we look at the 5 factors that the board has to consider, the first factor I think is the most important one. Is there going to be a detriment within the neighborhood or to neighbors for it? If you look at the property from Eastview Drive, there's kind of a rock outcropping that hides this whole area. Okay, so one could argue from the neighborhood standpoint it doesn't impact anything. From a precedential standpoint, I think it impacts a lot for future houses that may be developed in that neighborhood that may want to take advantage of whether it's a roof easement or something else for it. There certainly is a detriment to the neighbor The neighbor's driveway is on the furthest north side, so their house is 26 feet away from the property line, similarly situated to how 40 is situated on their lot, 25, 26 feet from the property line. So the two houses are close together. My clients have a deck off their rear yard that they utilize, and they have endured the detriments of grilling from their neighbors for it. And what is being proposed, obviously, is going to be an increase in that activity for it. So there is a detriment that will be forthcoming, whether legal or not legal. There is a CO for some kind of wood structure deck which exists. I believe on one of the drawings is a plan for a terrace below this deck or something, so it's going to push even further into the setback, and I understand that a terrace, anybody can probably do a terrace for it, but clearly this is being created for extensive use in the future by either these owners or the next owners if they choose to sell for it. So there is a serious impact that has to be measured, in my opinion, from the neighbor's standpoint for it. There's plenty of room to do something else. This is a major renovation that's being talked about. It's not just a, an addition of some wraparound porch. There is other things going on with it. And I'm in the middle of doing a renovation myself, and once you start, there's plenty of room to change things around. You're not limited to where you are. And so to the extent that they're redesigning everything for it, I don't think they've taken a good look to see whether they should push their deck to the rear of the house, as most houses have for it. I would understand if they need some kind of landing to get out from the kitchen area through the existing sliders, if that's what they're using. But there's nothing said that they have explored any possibility of pushing this whole thing where it belongs, in the rear yard. The fact that there's an existing eave, the fact that it's only 3 feet more and it's a roof, the board has to look at what's going to go on here is basically creating an entertainment space for it. And the impact of that entertainment space, which gets created by the benefit of the roof, is the sort of thing that is problematic or potentially problematic for the adjoining neighbor, and can represent the diminution in the value of their property. So from the first standpoint, we believe that there is a detriment to the neighbor. We think there's a detriment to the neighborhood to the extent that this sort of variance is allowed on arguably narrow lots, but they're beautiful lots up there for it. If we look to the other factors, we believe that there are other alternatives that could be pursued. Again, if we just focus on the requested variance as a roof thing, well, there's not too much you can do with a roof, but you can certainly do a lot with design and put this someplace else for it, where it probably belongs for it. Obviously, it's self-created. It's a standard factor. We know that. That's a minor factor for it, but it is one of the 5 factors. So we asked the board to take a closer look on this. I don't think this is the sort of thing that screening would benefit. I think if you did a site visit, you can see how close the yards are. We have some photographs if they're needed for it. I assume the board did do a site visit, or do you need some photographs?
Yes.
Okay, for it. So I think, we think the applicant should take another look at this and see if they can do something to change the space around in some way and give the house the addition that they're trying to put on and the functionality that they need with their grilling space and a deck not right up against the neighbor, but in the rear of the house where it belongs.
Let me ask you this question. Is there any vegetation between the two neighbors?
There's not that much right now. We do have photographs that would show what is there. Okay, for it. Close enough. Conclusion.
Thank you.
There is some
What-
sort
can
of
you
rock
describe what's
outcropping
being-
towards the front. I'm sorry.
Can you describe what is being looked at in these pictures?
Well,
So these are taken from the side yard between the properties?
this is existing. So at the present time, they have an existing porch on the side, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that existing porch, it looks like, from what I can estimate, is about 12, 13 feet wide, roughly? Close enough. I went to school before computers. Okay. So that's existing. The other question comes up, you mentioned about smoke from barbecue grill. Where I live, I can smell my neighbor 5 houses away when he's cooking hamburgers, or if he's cooking fish, you can hate it. That we can't get involved with. People have the right to barbecue. Where it goes from there, unless the EPA wants to step in and we gotta put hoods with filters, charcoal filters, then you can barbecue. I think the big problem here is the fact that we don't have any, we have very little vegetation, so neighbors see each other. I hate fences. I don't even want to talk about a fence. But even with some vegetation putting along the property line, that would reduce to some degree the situation. See, 267B, as you're well aware of, one of them is there an alternative? Or how can we do something? And as chairman of the board, what I try to do, and the board members do also, we try to work with people and not rubber stamp say denied. But there's always a solution to a problem. We just got to step back and look at it a little further. But from what I can see, if there was proper vegetation between the two neighbors, especially where the patio is, it might not be a problem. I think it's more seeing something rather than smelling something.
I think it's the exacerbation of what they've had to see over the years, I would agree.
Yeah.
For it. It is the north side of the house. There are some tall trees that are there, as some of the photos show, so I'm not sure what vegetation would do well there. I don't know if there's a landscaping plan as part of this that we could consider for it, or where the applicant wants to take some time to try to propose one.
Yeah, because my main concern is I have to do a balancing act.
Correct.
So what I'm trying to see, what I see here is that the patio the roof he wants to put on the patio compared to what he has now really is de minimis. It's not that much of a difference. However, it's visual, and the applicant's going to have to decide if he wants to put up some screening between himself and the neighbor along where the patio is. And that's something that they have to decide on. I'm not asking you to decide it now. Maybe you have to come back, we would adjourn it and look into it, but there are alternatives. Just like I said about the awning. You wouldn't be here if you had an awning, even though it's a Band-Aid, in your words.
Chairman, can I say something else also?
Yeah, Mr.
Add
Dorr?
to that? If I'm interpreting this right also, I mean, they're going forward with an addition to this no matter what, which doesn't require to be in front of us at all, planning board or anybody else. It's just a building permit approval. So once that's approved, the house is going up. So when you look at these pictures and you have a deck similar to what we're seeing in these pictures staying like that, the roof that he's discussing is only enhancing the look of the house. You know, so I see the point of the Band-Aid, but that roof is now causing a more aesthetic look to the house. You know, and nobody can stop him from building a house other than the building department that says it structurally can't be done, which I don't think, as an engineer, would be going forward with that point. So I just wanted to add that to the record.
Anyone else have any comments?
Yes, Mr.
Mr.
Vitaliano.
Bartos?
Yeah, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to fully develop the record on the impacts that you believe that this renovation will have on your client's enjoyment and use of their property. I think echoing some of the sentiments from the chairman and Mr. Dorr, it does seem as though the barbecuing has been going on prior to the application for this variance. In fact, if the applicant were to get the variance that they're seeking, they would continue barbecuing in the same fashion that they have up to this point, although they may be able to barbecue more often because now they can do it in inclement weather, so they could do it when it's raining out. It seems to me that the only potential impact that your client could raise would be the fumes from the barbecue grill, and the only increase that we can discern would be during rainy weather. I'm hard pressed to see how your client would be using the outdoor space in the inclement weather when the increased use of the deck for barbecuing would be happening.
So I think tied in with this is the fact that we're basically creating a space for parties, for more people to congregate for. And so while the space may exist already.
But roof or
okay,
no roof, they could still have parties on there.
I gather that, I understand that, okay? But they could also do it in their backyard where it belongs.
But that's
for-
not exactly the point. The point is that with or without the roof, no variance or no variance, they can use this second-story deck for parties. They could have music, they could be loud, within the town code, of course, but you're not going to negate that. You're not going to prevent them from making that use simply by denying the variance.
That is correct for it, but the reality is that it is something visual that my clients have to look at, okay? It does
Hard to see
encroach
through
in
those
terms of-
trees. You think your clients are visually impacted by that potential roof with the tree cover that's there now? It's pretty
Again,
dense.
Not at ground level, looking up perhaps
Okay.
for it, okay, but at ground level, it's pretty thin for it.
But your client's house actually sits kind of below, in terms of grade, lower than the applicant's house, and,
No, I think it's the other way around. I think we're at a
oh, it's
higher grade.
higher?
They're at the lower grade and now they're coming up.
Okay.
And so if you look at their existing deck, or whatever you want to call it, it looks like it's got more depth to it closer to the house, and it's kind of on grade closer to us. So, again, there are a lot of things that could have been redesigned as they're doing this house for it, and nobody's told me why they can't put it where it belongs, in the backyard.
I think the issue becomes about the way the house has been used, and I think certainly your points are valid, and there's certainly valid points for us to consider. However, it's not as though the applicant is seeking to extend the roof to cover the entire patio, and I don't have the impression at this point, and we're not done here yet, but I don't have the impression that what they're looking to do is going to fundamentally change the use that's of the type that's the area has been used for decades, it seems. And therefore, like, I don't seem to have as much of a concern. I don't share your client's concerns to the depth that she obviously has them. Again, to me, this speaks of increasing the convenience for the applicants and not necessarily changing the fundamental use of the space in a substantial fashion. And that weighs towards the applicant, and in my view, but,
But the applicant has not demonstrated that he can't do it some other way.
But
If
he
you
doesn't-
focus
he
just on the
doesn't-
roof line,
he doesn't
then
have to. He
it's
doesn't-
over.
But he doesn't necessarily have to, and when you look at the way the house is constructed now, to say that they have to reorient the whole house to change it, it would mean more if the typical and historical use of the patio and entertaining and the barbecuing or the socializing was in a different part of the house, and now they were looking to move it to a place that would impact your client in a manner that would also infringe upon the setback. So I understand your points, they're all good and valid, but I'm not finding the weight to subscribe to those concerns at this time. That's my opinion.
Does the board, before I start, have you considered or will consider putting some sort of a screening?
You can rebuff right now.
I'm not asking you to make the decision now. You can come back at another meeting But-
Approach the podium.
Sure.
I would like to rebut some of the points that the gentleman made. I think there are misrepresentations and some misunderstandings that the gentleman has. First of all, there is significant planting between us and the neighbor. By the way, each property is on the same level. They're not higher than we are, they're at the same level. There's significant planting. There's a whole hedgerow of 20-foot high evergreen trees. I planted in front of them a whole hedgerow of 4-foot high Andromeda. There is significant screening between the two properties. It's a misrepresentation to say that there isn't. Second point, and I think one of you made it very clearly, there is nothing improper, illegal about moderate use of a deck for grilling, dining, and socializing. Nothing wrong with that. You made that point really very well. Third point, if we don't have this, and we do the, did you say, Chairman, 10-foot retractable roof, does that not further encourage our
No.
use?
It does not.
I agree,
It
but
doesn't.
we're talking about dimensions. 6 foot is a problem. Is 10 foot any better?
The whole
So-
idea of the retractable roof was to give a lot more allowable space so that you could put your barbecue grill under, slightly at the edge of the awning. Not have to be right under it, but off of it. And you would have more space if you were going to put tables and chairs and whatnot. That's the practicality of it.
Yeah,
all
I
right?
understand. No, I
But
understand.
but the other end of it is the fact that you don't like it. Obviously, because it's a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So, a significant point from the gentleman was that we are going to have parties and it's going to disrupt them. The point I'm trying to make is that if we have some sort of cover there, if it's even true that it would encourage our disruption to them with noisy parties or something, which we don't do, by the way, but if it would encourage that, it's going to encourage it with a legal retractable roof. So I don't really get that point. And furthermore, we think our roof will look a lot better. Someone already made the point that the amount of mass that's going up there that would be visible due what will be a legally allowed expansion of our house is so much more visible than what this roof would be. I have some other points, so just bear with me. We, in fact, as part of our design, we in fact are extending the deck to the back of the house. The deck itself is going to extend to the back of the house and wrap around. So we are doing that. We're going to have a larger deck when it's all said and done. It'll all be legal because that deck in the back of the house will be within the rear yard setback, well within the rear yard setback. And the reason we want to maintain the current deck, and we want the cooking to be there. We don't want the cooking to be where the larger assembly area could be. We want the cooking to be where we're proposing to have it, where we have the roof, where we want the roof, because we have access directly from our kitchen through a door onto the deck there. It's a matter of convenience for us, improving our convenience. We're going to cook there no matter what, because that's where the kitchen is. It's just a matter of having a 6-foot cover for inclement weather. The gentleman also said something about when we actually do refurbish the deck, that it's going to go out further towards them. It will not. I don't know why he says
I
that.
heard that. I don't know that I heard
I don't think
He
I
said,
heard that.
okay, so then I apologize, I may have misunderstood. But the current deck is going to be refurbished, and it's going to be in its current location. We're not going to extend that deck.
All right. That's it?
Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Yes?
So I'd like to hand up the drawing, which I believe is part of the application, which includes a new paved terrace, remove the existing wood deck, and it shows that it does indeed wrap around, and it basically shows that they could do what they want to do and push everything towards the back. And this is their drawing that shows what he was just talking about.
You're not, Mr. Tiglan, you're not alleging, nor do I think you did, that the north side of the deck is, or patio is gonna be pushed out any closer to your,
That says it is.
oh, it does say that?
It says new terrace area.
It's not towards the property, though. It's towards the back.
That's what my question was, pushed out towards the north
It's
side.
a new terrace because the old one will be refurbished. And we will be building the new terrace directly over top of the old one. So, yeah, it's a new terrace. So, I beg to differ. I apparently did hear him correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we are not doing what he said. It's going to be the same plan profile on the north side of the house.
Well, it's not necessarily up for this variance, but I do like the record to be clear. And I'm not sure, I need to take a closer look at this very tiny print.
Oh, here, would you like to look at this?
Look, I don't want, for me, I don't need to get too far into that. Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment about the application at this time?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, as we know, we typically do group site visits for each application on the Saturday before the meeting. This time around, as the Saturday before was the 4th of July holiday, we were not able to do group site visits for this property. And based upon the layout of this property, I for one don't feel comfortable on my own, going on my own, walking deep into the woods in a driveway and walking around somebody's house on my own. It's not something I've really wanted to do. I feel more comfortable doing that as a group when we go together. For me, the question really is about verifying with my own eyes the screening between the properties as is. We've heard two different contentions there. So for me, I would like the opportunity to go view as a group the property themselves for the purposes of looking at the screening as is to determine if any appropriate conditions might be warranted here as far as that. That's my position, but I don't know.
Well, we did have the 4th of July holiday,
Yeah.
and that sort of put the kibosh on our normal procedures. Would the board be interested in postponing this application, and then we go to take a look at this as a full board and make our decision at the next meeting?
Mr. Chairman, could I propose that we go into a business session on this to discuss that further before we make a determination as to whether or not to adjourn today's hearing?
Okay, then I make a motion to go into a business session.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Dewar. All
Let's
those?
see if anybody else wants to speak
Yes.
first. We should see if anybody else wants to speak on the issue
No,
first.
that's it. That's it?
Can
Sure.
I make a
Yeah.
recommendation
Yes.
that we
Yes.
hold this to a business session and let the next applicant do their,
Yep.
so we can finish
I
with the
think,
people
yeah,
that are
that's
sitting
good.
there.
All right, so
I
we're
would
going to
concur
hold this
with-
application?
I would second Mr. Dorr's suggestion.
Okay, very good. All right, so we're going to hold it
To a business session.
with true deference to Jeffrey and Nicole Cohen.
You can sit, you and your wife can sit back in the audience.
You can come up, please.
You can come up too if you want. I know you don't want to stand up here, so you could just sit.
Really?
You gonna make her move?
You can sit down. You can stay
She doesn't
relaxed.
get out much, she said.
Oh, my God. I don't want to go to my truck and get my OB kit. Holy Jesus.
Raise your right hand, please. Testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes,
Okay. And you're Jeffrey Cohen?
yes,
And you and your wife, Nicole, own the premises located at 9 Cy Court in Pleasantville.
correct.
And it's designated on the tax map, Town of Mount Pleasant, as 106.8-3-18. And the application is for a proposed 6-foot fence in the rear and side yard of an existing single-family dwelling on a parcel of .47 acres in the R20 zone.
Correct.
Maximum fence height is 4 feet. You don't have anything now. You're proposing a 6-foot fence, you need a 2-foot variance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the fence that you're putting up is, I would say a plastic fence?
Yeah, vinyl fence.
And on the top of that, what we've always looked at favorably was a lattice.
Yes, sir.
I don't see a lattice there.
It's there.
That's a lattice?
Yes.
To me, that's lattice.
So the line that's not showing as a fence here is the existing neighbor's fence.
Right?
That is, as best as I could tell from fences I looked at, identical to this. So I'm matching an existing 6-foot fence with a lattice that's on a neighbor's line.
All right. That's your neighbor's, same design as your neighbor's fence.
As best as I can tell with whatever manufacturing differences, but
And it's a white fence?
yes.
What I suggest to you is that the north side of your fence is going to start getting molding very quickly. So you better get the bleach out and get ready to clean. I have no question. Ms. Novak?
No, this board loves lattice tops. You'll see very quickly. I don't have any questions.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. DeChico?
No questions.
Mr. Dorr?
I'm going to do my usual. Why does it need to be 6 foot?
So 6-foot, partially privacy. What I've heard, and we moved up here November 1st from the city. Before that, from Florida. I've been told deer have a very easy time with 4-foot fences, and at least
They can jump in 8-foot fence.
Yeah,
Just so you
I've been told it's
It's
more
motivated.
difficult, but it is. It's also to match what the existing neighbor has. So on the back line, of course, we can do the 6-foot. That's within the zoning, and it's just a matter of keeping it all symmetrical and matching what's the existing on the neighbor's line.
Mr. Lepatos?
I have nothing, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Anybody want to speak?
Is there anyone here for or against this application?
Mr.
Does anybody want to make a
Mr. Chairman,
motion
I'll
on
make a
this
motion.
application?
I'll make a motion for Z2622 to approve as submitted based on the submitted documentation.
Okay, I have Mr. Dorr. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Ms. Novak. Mr. DeChico?
Aye.
Mr. Lepatos?
Aye.
Aye. Chairman votes aye, carried 5-0.
How many weeks are you?
31.
Okay.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
All right, enjoy. Mr. Chairman, I request we move into business session to discuss the remaining application.
Okay. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
All right. Let's move into the,
Aye.
everybody say
Aye.
aye? Yep. All right, then let's move into it then. All right. Do you want to hold it here?
No, business session's here. Yeah, it's not executive session, we just.
Want to do it here?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. You got the floor.
I didn't request.
I did, and I wanted to bring a few points to the group so we could discuss. Although it is our common practice in every application, since I've been a member of the board, approximately 10 years, we always do site visits. On the rare occasion when we don't do site visits as a group, we've done them independently, and fortunately, we were given that opportunity for this last application as well. I I did have the opportunity to conduct an independent site visit, and I did make observations of the screening that exists, and I wanted to share that with my other members of the board, to suggest that in fact there is a significant screening in place that would, in my view, inhibit both view as well as perhaps the flow of vapors or barbecue exhaust. So the idea of, again, having another opportunity to view it with the potential that the community member who's appeared here in opposition to the application might be forced to incur additional legal fees by having her attorney appear yet again before our board, I thought we might be able to obviate the need for that by having a candid discussion on what our independent observations revealed that might assuage any concerns that some members of our board might have.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to make sure that there was no need for an additional condition, and if you were able to view, I was not, because of the.
Some of these
I
pictures
was
are
not,
illustrative.
but
I don't know
but if you,
Ms. Grahowski, could you share some of those with Mr. Chico?
but George, I trust your opinion. If you,
No,
yeah.
but I want you to at least see what I was alluding to. Perhaps it's helpful.
Those- So
The height, the thickness of the screening, it's significant, not impenetrable, and I think that we could make a condition, perhaps to add, supplement what's already in place, but the potential impacts that the neighbor might suffer appear to be alleviated to some extent by what's already in place.
nothing does. There's no prohibition from the neighbor putting up their own screening of any sort, bushes, trees, or what have you.
Yeah, another protective measure that could be explored by the.
One of the problems you have, and you can't really solve it, is the barbecue vapors.
Yeah, but we're not here for that.
Yeah, but the point
Well, that was
is,
the
point
sole
is-
basis for the
for the argument. is-
impact on the community.
Right, so
and neighborhood.
we're talking about a house that's gonna have a second story on it. It's gonna be much higher than it is now, probably by about another, say, 14 feet. We change the roof size.
But the second,
But
the second story roof is not extending
But-
out to
no,
where.
No, it's not, but the
Yeah.
point that I'm trying to make is, you're raising, you're doubling the size of that part of the section of the house. So if you were living next door, you're not looking at a low-level house, you're gonna be looking at a high-level.
But then the house next to it is already higher than the house before they do anything
Right.
to it.
So-
When they do something to it, they're both gonna be the same level.
Yeah, but the point, the thing is, if you put a 6-foot roof over the patio, and there is that proper vegetation on it, I just think that it's not, I don't see the big problem. You know, we can argue both sides. I don't see the big problem with this at all.
With the roof.
Yeah, with the roof.
Right.
No.
Do any of us?
To be candid.
I mean,
think
I
exploring-
drove them. I did not walk all the way back to the back of their property, because to your point, I mean, yeah, I could have put my fire attire on and whatever, but
Yeah.
I think from a liability, we'd be covered. But that aside,
Yeah.
face value, looking at it, and I just pulled up Google Maps, and I just did it on Google and looked again to just verify. I don't see an issue with it compared to what we've approved in the past.
Yeah. Because they both made, you know, their points of view. But when you get down to it, you look at 267B, is it a detriment to the community? Not really.
Well, the thing is, we did afford the neighbor the opportunity to develop that record.
Right.
And
And
there
then we go
wasn't
back-
much there in terms of any impact on any of the other neighbors
Right.
other than this adjacent neighbor. And the impacts on that neighbor, I think, were minimal to the extent there was a visual impact, which I think is largely minimized by the existing screening, could be even further minimized perhaps by additional screening, but the only remaining impact was barbecue vapors, which have already existed
Long
since the
before.
current homeowners applicant have lived there. They will continue to use that barbecuing area in the same fashion that they have previously, creating the same barbecue
The vapors
vapors.
go according to the wind, and there's no way of controlling the wind. So it either goes-
Again, guy, I really think we've talked about the barbecue like way too much. It's
Yes.
really
I
about
agree.
the use of the deck as a place to socialize and general use and purpose.
So going through the
And
factors.
that is not changing at all from the way that
So
it's been.
impact on the neighborhood, do we all agree that there's a minimal impact on the neighborhood? Is that where we're landing on this?
Well, if there is a minimal impact, what would you consider minimal impact? You think somebody having
Nothing
a
meaningful.
DJ having a party, or
Nothing meaningful.
nothing, okay. So, no.
And then, of course, it is self-created. It is consistent with other homes in the neighborhood which have covered porch
Porches
areas.
and
It's
barbecue grills and
consistent
everything
with
else.
development of other homes in the community.
Personally, I don't see, from the beginning, I really didn't see a major issue here.
I don't have anything further.
I don't,
No.
I just,
What do you say, what do you say?
no, I just wanted to, and I appreciate the idea of going to business session. Just wanted to discuss if there was a need for screening with that.
But is that something we should perhaps condition approval on? Some green giant arborvitae's that would reach a height of?
They already have, it's not.
I mean, it's
They already have.
supplementation of what's there, but it's appropriate if you think it's necessary.
There's bushes and tall trees there already.
That's what I thought.
I'm not sure what else we would
I
do.
mean, I don't know how much it would vary in the winter, but everybody loses vegetation, and unless you have arborvitae's that are like creating a solid wall in between.
Which we could.
I'm okay as is. I mean, I'm fine. That's my position. If anybody wants to make the reapplication with the condition, I'm not, that's fine with me too, but I'm not.
Agent, you got anything to say?
No. I kind of wanted to go down the rabbit hole of developing the record. If they had come here with police reports of several incidents or something regarding them throwing raves at night, you know, well outside of town ordinances or something that really was detrimental, but just based on my personal observations of the applicant. Not to say you don't throw amazing parties, I just don't get the general gist that their use of entertainment on their deck is detrimental to the neighborhood.
Or do you think that the board is ready to make a decision on this
I do.
application?
I'm ready to come out
I
of
motion
business
to
session.
close business session.
All right.
I second.
Second, all right, business session is closed.
Mr. Chairman, may I approach the podium?
No, there's
We're finished.
public.
Public hearing is closed.
I would just like to see the evidence that my neighbor presented. I haven't seen this tonight.
You could sort of come up and, you could come take them, but we're gonna move forward.
They've seen my drawings.
You could take them back to your seat. Just bring them back when you're done, please.
Is the board ready to make a determination on this application?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I'll make an application at this time to approve Z 26-21 as submitted.
All right.
Second.
A second by Mr. Dorr. Ms. Novak?
I vote aye.
All right. Mrs. DeChico?
Aye.
All right. Chairman votes aye, carried 5-0.
Mr. Chairman,
All right.
based on there's no
Do-
more applicants, I move to close the meeting.
All right. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second? All right. All those in favor, say
Aye.
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 Meeting's closed.